Thank you, everyone. Lori, roll call, please.
District 7, Commissioner John Moody.
Yes.
District 6, Commissioner Evan Ziehart. Present. District 5, Commissioner Christine Lee.
Present.
District 4, Commissioner Bill Sarkella.
Here.
District 3, Commissioner Gary Heberlein.
Here.
District 2, Commissioner Roger Ballard.
Present.
District 1, Chairman John Black.
Present. Thank you, Lori. And Evans did let me know, unfortunately, is sick kid, so he wasn't able to be here today. We'll hope that he gets better soon. Moving on, there are no additions to today's agenda that I'm aware of, so if anybody else doesn't have any, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, support from Commissioner Moody to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to our meeting minutes from November 18th. If there are no corrections or deletions, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, support from Commissioner Heberlein to adopt our meeting minutes from November 18th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. You have received your correspondence from Jody through email the other day. So we're going to move into commissioner reports and we're going to start with Commissioner Moody.
I had, on the 20th, I had, Fremont Township, discussed, just paid all their bills, talked about some of the projects that needs done around the hall. In their new business, they did a resolution to amend the zoning ordinance to regulate utility scale battery storage centers and also for data mining. And they renewed with their CDs. And then last night I had Melvin. And they just had a long discussion about a couple of dead trees in their village that need to be cut down. And they voted on paying their wages for the year. And they're gonna be doing their road striping as soon as they can now. And they're gonna look at having their hall they rent right now just to citizens or residents of the village, but they're looking at doing it outside and they'll have two different fees. And they renewed their meeting schedule for 26. That's it.
Okay, thank you, John. I had contact with Marion Township. They're looking at, DTE wants to do a solar project there that's going to span Marion and Wheatland Township. They had some questions and I helped them with that. That's all I have. Christine?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, Bill?
Carsonville had their fire department. They passed all their inspections, some zoning discussion. And they're moving forward with their water project. The weather's kind of set them back a little bit with the cold. Buell Township went over some building permits. They've had a few things constructed in their township. Had some hall updates, so they're using their ARPA dollars. Interior, exterior was all redone, looked really good. And some cement work. And then they've lined up their taxes can be paid by e-pay now. So folks are doing things electronically instead of handling by paper. In Applegate, they have a zoning board vacancy. It was discussed last night. They're digitizing all their minutes and purchasing a printer, accepted snow bid, and continuing to rent their hall. And they had some upgrades there. We're gonna have a lighting contest in the village, and then the village president has agreed to serve on our Brownfield board. So he will be attending those when they get the schedule out to him for that. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Bill. Gary?
Yep, thank you, John. Since our last meeting, BOC meeting, I attended a Custer Township meeting. Tonight I have Watertown Township meeting, and tomorrow night more Township meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Roger?
Last Monday, I went out to the Marlin Township Hall at the airport and met with State Representative Alexander. He has this monthly meet and greet. And he wanted to pass on the accolades from the Caro State Police Post regarding our emergency director and what a good job he's doing. Said people are really impressed with him. So that's good to hear. Last Tuesday, I was at Evergreen Township. They meet bi-monthly. They approved their bills, approved renewal of their accessory contract, and they completed painting and installing new blinds in their hall. So it really freshened that up, made it look nice. They have a nice hall. City of Marlette was last night. Their marijuana regulatory ordinance is gonna now be placed on the August ballot. They approved various department committee reports. They approved replacing a portion of the city hall roof. They approved pay requests for the Euclid Street paving project and also Moore Street sewer repair. They approved their 2026 meeting and holiday schedule. They also approved the planning commission ordinance updates and their bylaws. And they approved their MML insurance renewal and also the DDA bylaws. And next Saturday, the 13th, they have the Community Merry and Bright Festival. And I believe most of that takes place at the park. Non-government related also, my wife and I attended at the Marlette First Church on Sunday, the choir performance by the Deckerville Community Choir. I highly recommend if you can get out and see one of their remaining performances this year. It's well worth it. We have a couple of the singers sitting in the back row here, Dale and Kim, and Steve Postgay's wife, our former Forester Park manager, Nancy, she sings in it. Really a good hour performance, so glad we went.
I think you're gonna be at the Presbyterian Church this weekend in Sandusky.
It's worth an hour, for sure. Good job. Yep, that's all I have.
Thank you for your report, Roger. I appreciate you giving us the feedback about our emergency management position. It's good to hear that from outside the county and that people are seeing it that way. So I appreciate everyone's commissioner reports. Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. I don't have a lot to report. We had the Thanksgiving holiday. Most of my time's been tied into union negotiation stuff, and we'll discuss that later.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions for Nathan? Seeing none, we're gonna move on. This time I'm gonna call for public comments pertaining to the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today? Seeing none, we're gonna move on. I am at this time going to open a public hearing for the 2026 proposed general fund budget for Sanilac County. I'm also going to call for public comment right now. Is there any public comment pertaining to the public hearing related to the 2026 proposed general fund budget? Trudy?
I'd just like to say Nathan's done a phenomenal job with, and I'm sure all of you are involved too, but the budget has been easy the last couple of years.
Well, I appreciate that feedback,
Yeah.
but when I got here originally, we would all meet, right?
Yeah.
And Nathan has devised what I believe to be a better plan, and it's nice to hear that you feel the same way.
I'm comfortable with what he's done on it. I really don't see any need, because we all get along so well. We don't see any need to sit down at a table and argue over this and that. And most of it's just cookie cutter stuff that we're all comfortable with.
You said it, Trudy. We all get along so well.
That's
I like it.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Is there any other public comment related to the 2026 proposed general fund budget? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move on. That public hearing will stay open for the remainder of our meeting, and I'll call for public comment one more time. So up next is Trudy, our county treasurer.
Yeah.
Welcome. You're here to talk to us about some tax foreclosure updates.
Yes, back in 2019, there was a change to the law that allowed folks that got foreclosed on by the county treasurer to submit claims for the amount of the excess proceeds. So when I foreclose, vehicles go to a public auction. Now, in the last few years, it's been online. I used to hold them up in circuit court, but things changed so much that it's easier done online, and it eliminated some of the problems that we were having. So, but now, moving forward, in the end of 2020, when Tara was here as the administrator, we set aside a liability, and we hoped this, and you can see on this spreadsheet, the $917,955. We were just estimating what could happen if they had determined that we had to be going retroactive. And in the end, that's what happened. So we had to go back to 2015, 2013, and I hired Title Check, who does my auctions, to gather all the information, all of the foreclosed parcels back that far. And Roger and I were talking back when I started here in 12, there were 50 parcels generally every year, where now we're this year we had, I believe, 14. You know, so we do a lot of bending over backwards as far as people trying to save them from foreclosure. But in the end, the claims that we got, I believe there were 6 from those early years. We called it retroactive claims. So it went from anywhere from 13 to 2020. And we had 6 claims. I was in court in front of Judge Raffle yesterday with one of them. And it was, it's most of it's cut and dried, as long as the owner that owned it when it was foreclosed comes in with a claim on those proceeds. It's Judge Raffle is comfortable saying, yes, we'll grant that money. But if it's messy, and there was one we had that was the personal representative of an estate, someone who had passed on that we foreclosed on, that's where it kind of got kind of messy. So there's things like that, but it's all up to the judge. I have nothing as far as I pay my attorney to come and argue the point, basically, but the judge is the one who orders or directs me to pay the excess proceeds. There is a 5% that is built into the law that the county gets to keep from the excess proceeds. So it's kind of a realtor fee almost, but so you can see on the spreadsheet here, the payments we've made out so far. The deposit was the 917,000, withdrawals paid to date, 130,000, 377.99. The legal expenses we've had are in the next column that we paid so far. The miscellaneous expense over on the right, the $1,400, was the fee that Title Check charged me to do the legwork for the retroactive parcels. But we have, I believe, 3 out there. I just gave Brooke an order from the judge from yesterday for one of the ones on claims yet to pay. And then the other 2 had been postponed out to January of next year. So, but we anticipate these other 3 withdrawals at the bottom there. And I've already submitted to Brooke a payment for the legal defense for MACT for $750. So in the end, at the very bottom, we started with the 917,000 that we had set aside. And mind you, we set this aside back in 2020. This fund used to give the general fund just under $300,000 a year to add to the budget. And so the general fund has been lacking that every year because we've been sitting on this waiting for all of this to occur. And hopefully we're just about out of the woods, but we just got word, Isabella County, one of their excess proceeds cases is not happy with the excess proceeds and still wants to press for fair market value. So that we're all of us counties are kind of pitching in with the cost of that. It's going to the Supreme Court. We're hoping that gets turned down because it would affect us all if we have to go back and give twice the SEV rather than what we gained at the sale of the property. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, we get through this and we'll be just about done with this and we can move forward. The current years, so we collected it from the auction, we pay it out, we don't have to dip back into the old funds. It's like pays itself year to year. So the current claims, I think we take that one to Judge Raffle in March, but those are fairly small compared to some of these. So I had one of the people here in Sanilac County, he came in, he said, well, I'm gonna file a claim he said, how much am I gonna to get? And I said, well, it looks like you're gonna get about $48. He said, well, how much does it cost to file the motion? I said, probably a good portion of that. So he said, forget it. So we have a lot of them that we didn't make a lot on the sale. So they're not showing up to collect. But, you know, when you're looking at 40,000, it's worth it to come and at least file a claim and see what the judge will grant. So any questions?
Yeah, Trudy, just a couple questions.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
I'm assuming this balance is still drawing interest as a.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And second of all, did you say there's a time frame on this? Or, no?
I believe the deadlines are passed for filing the motions.
Okay.
Now, there were two, I believe, that the judge granted extensions on that will be out here to January or somewhere first of next year, but that should clean it up.
I heard you say that. I just wondered. if there was a
Yes.
time frame.
The time frame, the deadline has passed and even in a normal foreclosure year, we foreclose on April 1st each year on anything that's left. They have until July 1st to file the claim with the county treasurer. So there's always a deadline there. So, and then that judge hears those cases the next March, I believe. So this one was in the fall for the retroactive claims, but I'm hoping that we're gonna smooth out and fly
Thank you.
straight.
So retroactively, most of that is settled at this point,
Yes.
but every year we can expect new
Yes.
claims based on the new foreclosure.
Based on the new foreclosures, which, you know, it's not old money, it's new money, you know, that kind of thing. So that would just be a payout each year.
Well, I certainly commend you for back in 2020, seeing what was coming and setting it aside and doing the conservative move, because it's worked out for us from a financial perspective in the county.
Yes.
And let's be honest, what you've shown us today is some pretty darn good news.
Oh, yeah. I'm really grateful to everybody that's worked on that and I think this has worked out way better than we had hoped.
This one was keeping me up at night a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's one
Well, that was scary
bad.
time. The unknowns back then. I remember that.
Oh, yeah, that's big dollars right there. So I'm glad.
Great to be proactive instead of reactive.
Oh, I agree.
So from here on out, they still have to file claims?
Yes, they still have to file claims.
Okay.
Mhm. So we'll sell those properties usually, and see, we foreclose in April, they have to file by July.
Right.
Not knowing the auction's in August. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Right.
So they have no idea what the parcel's gonna sell for. So we already have the claims for this year that will settle in the spring. But yeah, we had a 40 acres that sold over here off of Van Dyke that was this last year. I think they filed a claim on that one. But there's some big ones out there. So.
Very good.
Anything else? Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trudy.
Mhm.
Okay, next up in presentations, we have Joanne Bai, our recycling center facility coordinator. Joanne, welcome.
Thank you, appreciate that. I think I know everybody here. Hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. I gave you 3 papers just to kind of go over some of the stuff so you could kind of look at it and see. The first one is the 2025 yearly report. Nathan and I have had many discussions on this because I was concerned over the fact that our poundage had gone down. And some of it, I would think a lot of it is the problems that we had with the road work. You know, nobody wanted to come up here. I have friends that live in Croswell and they just said, we're not coming, you know, and we did, we lost over 100,000 pounds. But what we did is going through the multi-county meetings and things, we tried to find ways to improve it. So it wasn't a big, like 500,000. We started taking glass. We're doing pallets now. If somebody brings pallets, people that don't have wood or anything, they pick them up and they use those. We're looking at other things. We're looking, Mike Davis, over in Carsonville. He does composting. We're talking about maybe starting something 3 times a year on a Saturday, they can bring that in, and different things like that. I've looked into the idea of, we have a lot of problems with the landfill getting freezers, refrigerators, things like that. I think I found a vendor that will give us a 40-yard dumpster, and we will be able to take those refrigerators and things, and they will take that. If there's a $15 fee, they will take that out of the weight that is given, so that we'll have that. And we'll have to do that on a appointment only. You know, we don't want refrigerators and freezers and everything like that that's out there. So we don't want them out on the lawn and things like that. And sometimes we do get some stuff that, you know, is not very appealing. So that's kind of our idea. One of the things I wanted to mention is our mixed paper. You notice this was 124,000 this year. It was 217,600 pounds of last year. Nobody reads the paper anymore. Everybody's, you know, watching TV or whatever. That's a big gap there. We've stayed up with our cardboard. Our cardboard has improved. Plastic has gone up. So we've done a lot of different things. We just started, you'll see glass was 20,000 pounds. We just started that a couple months ago. So we're doing really well with that. And so there's a lot of different things that, you notice that we've gone up with the electronics. We've gone up 10,000 pounds with that. So that kind of helped take some of the problems that we had. We did a household hazardous waste in September. I think it went fairly well. We had 119,000 pounds, 376 pounds. With the cars that we had, and it seemed like it wasn't as bad as it was the year before, but I think what happened is we had the employees come. We now have anybody from Sanilac County retired or whatever. Nathan sends them out a message, and they have 2 weeks to bring the stuff so they don't have to sit in that line. They're not leaving work to go do that. So I think that's helped. So we're up about 300, we're about 300 cars. So that was a good thing too. So we'd like to talk about the multi-county meeting that we're going to have. We are hosting a multi-county meeting January 28th.
That was in my report. I just met with, glad you asked. I just met with Nathan this morning. We think we're probably going to have it late January or very early February.
Okay. We're set up right now.
Got to get with training over in Dawson Street Training Room.
Okay, very good, very good. So we're working on that. Our multi-county person, who is Mike Miller from Tuscola County, him and our board.
Rochelle?
Yeah, Rochelle. Usually take care of most of it. I have to get some brochures made up. She'll send them over to Clear Idea, and then we'll have them. I think the first time that I went to the meeting, I didn't go to the second one, but the first one that I went to, there was probably maybe 15 or so. They said there was 30 there. So it's going to be inviting all the township people. And if you guys can be there, that would be nice. If they have any questions, and it was the one that we went to in Huron County was very productive. They had some very good, reasonings behind them. So,
and like we've said, we want the townships to ask lots of questions.
Yeah.
There's no dumb question.
One of the biggest things, and you're going to find this with any township, do we have to come up with the money?
Yeah.
Which they don't. That's where I'm going now. We were given, we get $60,000 a year for going through this program, and then another 10,000 because we're doing it in multi-county. And then for the first 3 years, we get 50 cents per capita. So our amount that we're allowed to have is $90,305. And we take that money and then we use that. It only can be used to help increase our recycling. And so Nathan and I got together and we budgeted $900,000 or $90,000. And we went to a meeting last month.
Our last.
And DJ, who is in charge of Eagle, was very pleased that we spent that money because everybody else, I'll give you an example. Huron County had $85,703 and they spent $13,014. Lapeer County had $114,000, they spent $9,000. This is what they budgeted for, and that's gonna be mostly for like the meetings and things like that. Tuscola
Joan,
County.
If you would, I just want to make sure you guys are aware when she said spent. So we set up a budget to expend those funds. We
Right.
have not expended $90,000, just so you guys know.
Right.
And it's a reimbursement grant, so you spend it out and then they'll give it to you. They didn't give us $90,000 per
If we
se.
don't spend it, they take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And that's something else, and Nathan, I'm not sure if you know this or not, is that we all said, you know, I haven't spent it because I've been trying to get baskets. I've been running into issues like tariffs and all sorts of different things that I'm running into. I have Nelson's, I have the ISD working on trying to see if we can get some of the students to make some of the baskets for us. I have Waste Management talking to GM and Ford. I just did that last week. And they're trying to see if we can get some baskets and things like that. I think we put down balers and things like that. At the last meeting that we went to, and Nathan, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, DJ, who is our Eagle representative, said that we don't have to have that money spent until 12/7 of 2026. So, and then we still, come January, we need another budget for this, you know, so, and he said, do what Santa Ana County does, spend it, you know, budget it out, because we don't know how long that's gonna be there for. So use it if you can, you know, so we had baskets, we had balers. I was gonna get a glass crusher. And they told, when we started doing this glass, and it's worked out very well without crushing it. So we're not gonna do that. They told us this last meeting, as long as it's in the equipment, you know, I can buy anything I want. But if I want to take it and put it for something else like trailers or something like that, or something that is not an equipment thing, then we still can use it. We don't have to amend it at all, which is good. So, Tuscola County had 96,000 and they only budgeted 9,876. So it's coming along really well as far as the meetings and things go. We're running into a lot of issues where people aren't showing up. Sand Lake County has the most representatives in our in the whole meeting, but we were 5. There was 7 people there, us 5 from Sand Lake County, and who else was there? One from Huron.
The one from here in Lapeer County.
Oh, and then the ERG guy.
Huron County wasn't there the last meeting.
Yeah, Huron County, no one was there from Huron County. So, you know, we're running into a lot of issues. Dave Faber had to leave early, and so we couldn't vote on anything. So we're running into a lot of issues with that. So.
Well, we had the 5 best people there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And everybody gets along very, very well. So, but anyways, there's not a whole lot I just wanted to, 2 minutes, and I wanted to kind of go over some of the things that we've done with our money that we've gotten since we got our what do I want to say? The money that we've gotten from our, voting for the millage, sorry. We've gotten, we used to have 3 balers, we have 13 now. We got a new building that was 289,000, which we only had to pay 40% on it, I think. Got a new forklift, a new truck. We now have the parking lot paved, and I don't know if you've seen it, but Gary and Alexander wanted to have it painted, and we did that. Mike from Mental Health painted it for us, and I've had more people mention that, and it is starting to work. They're starting to come around and park the right way. So we had a new roof put on. We repainted the whole inside. And it does look nice, I have to say. And then we put new toilets in, some fixtures. And we've gone from 4 employees to 13. So we've really kind of come a long ways as far as that goes. So I'm happy that, you know, the Board of Commissioners has been very supportive of us and it turned out good. So any questions?
You've done a good job there, Joanne. Fantastic job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to touch on, we've got to complete this plan to turn into Eagle. So the three of us, you and I, Dave, are trying to meet to put together our goals for that, if you want to mention it.
Right. Yeah, we're trying to get some goals together. One of the things that Nathan and I have talked about this, because we have such a small lot there, I'm really concerned with the food part of it. And so that's going to be one of the last things I'm going to try to work on, you know, that it has to go into in the plan, but it's going to go in the plan later more so than, and I might even talk to Chuck about seeing if we can take it out there. That might be an idea and have some kind of a composting out there, but anybody have any questions for you? Did you, and on here, there's a budget and it'll show that we're doing fairly well. So I think we've met our goals, or we will meet our goals for the revenue.
You exceeded the revenue at this point.
What was that?
You've exceeded revenue.
Okay, and then I think I've got about maybe another 6,000 coming this month. So I had 3 loads go out, so. Did anybody have any questions?
No, not all of the counties in this multi-county program have existing recycling, correct?
Right.
So that could explain why they aren't budgeting money out for, they probably don't know what to spend it on yet.
Well, they're trying to get something together with Tuscola County. Tuscola County wants to take in their recycling.
Yeah.
And
Right, I get that, but they don't have it established at this point. Does Huron County have recycling?
I don't
used
think,
to,
they
but
don't.
they canceled.
They
it.
don't, no.
No,
So that's probably why they're not
right. And
creating that.
Why can't they appropriate that
Mike
money back
Miller,
down to
Mike
us?
Miller will tell you.
Yeah.
Mike Miller and DJ will say, and Nathan can tell you this, they have said many a time, we are in good shape. I mean, we have what we have to have. We have a recycling center, we have a landfill. I have roll-offs out there. I think we were, 1 or 2 over the roll-offs that we need, that we have to have as a county. So we really don't have to get anything that won't help us get more product. So, you know, a lot of people are trying to buy trailers and trucks and, you know, that kind of thing. They're gonna have to buy all that, so.
Joanne, I have a question. We have these counties around us, and as Roger kind of alluded to, if they didn't already have a recycling center, now they have this access to this, you know, $70,000 to $90,000 worth of funds, depending on their population. We have this set up, and from what you've said here today, it's pretty obvious that we're way ahead of the curve because of that.
Where?
Is there any reason why Huron County couldn't gather that $90,000 and buy services from us with that?
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do with Tuscola County. Tuscola is trying to do that. Here's my concern, John, and I think Nathan maybe have the same, I won't vouch for him. My concern, and I've talked to Nathan about this, is we are paying for our millage. How are those people gonna react if we use the money from our millage? Because 90,000 isn't gonna go far, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want the citizens to be, oh, well, they're gonna take in everything, and that was my concern. I don't know what anybody else feels about that. Tuscola, they're working on it to see. At the time, we weren't gonna do it. If they need some help with something, you know, we can try to figure that out, but that was my concern.
That's a
was
valid
that-
concern. I'm glad you brought that
Yeah,
up.
am I gonna pay for this guy's gas and I'm not in his car, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was concerned with that we're gonna use that money and it would not be used for our millage the way it should have been used, so.
Layman's terminology, we don't want to get into that.
Thank you for saying that, I appreciate that.
I think the other concern was capacity wise, and Joanne cited, you know, we have 13 employees, all, outside of 1 are all part-time, including Joanne, so. If we had an influx of, let's say, a full another county's recycling to process, I think it'd be very challenging, and the other thing is spatially, we're landlocked down there, so we don't have a lot of room, and that's why I think Tuscola is looking at things, because they have a huge site Where
Okay.
if there was an influx of materials for them to process, it wouldn't be as challenging. We would probably run out of places to stack stuff.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they had 15 acres, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
And you're,
it's-
you got what, an acre down there at most?
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and there's some things that we're gonna try to do, and I've talked to Mike Miller about it and, you know, we've made it very clear that we really didn't want to get into that part. I have talked to, like, one of the things that they thought might be a part of not only the construction that was going on, but the fact that Sandusky got some new recycling bins and things like that. And I have looked at the possibility of taking that, because that's one of the things that the multi-county kind of wants you to do is take in. But the problem that we run into is, just so that you guys all know, is that it's fed into a garbage truck and it comes out the back of the garbage truck. Well, when I used to do it before, we had a truck, and this is the truck, and it had bins, and I would put baskets out and it would just fly into the baskets. That's not the case. We talked about it. We've kind of looked at it. It's gonna come flying out the rear end of it at 40 miles an hour, you know, and it's gonna be all over the recycling center. So we're looking at maybe getting some kind of a net that it would stop it so that it's not hitting things. It's just an idea. We're not sure what we're doing, but it's something that we are kind of looking at, is that we could take our recycling from, you know, from Croswell and Lexington and here, and it does, I don't know how much because they take it all the way down to Detroit. They take a truck down there when it's full, and then it sits. That's the other problem. It sits for days and weeks, and you know, how bad is it gonna be? So we kind of have to look at that too. I don't want anybody sick, and I don't want, you know, the stench down there, because I'm sure Sandusky wouldn't like me too well, so. Anybody have any questions? Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate the presentation. Thank you. Oh, wait a second here, Claire.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to conclude presentations today. I don't see any need for 13A, 13B, or 14, as there's no appointments to be made. There are no general resolutions, so we'll drop into committee reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Ballard.
Last Tuesday, we had our community mental health meeting. The Genoa Pharmacy, the remodel's coming along real well, and they expect to be opening shortly after the first of the year. The highlight of the meeting was a dinner for Deb Messing, who's retiring after 29 years with CMH. So, and let's see, what else did I have? I guess that's it.
Good. Thank you, Roger.
Yep.
Gary?
Tonight we have a Parks Board meeting, and the grant that we were looking for at Evergreen, Lexington, probably not gonna get it because we have bigger cities down close to Detroit that take up a lot of that grant money, and some of that's going there, so we'll keep working on it. We've already talked about the MPPC meeting, getting an informational meeting set up, and then as Joanne and I already talked in her talk there, Thursday, her and I and the city manager are gonna try to get together and put some goals in for the plan that we're gonna submit to the city.
Thank you, Gary. Bill?
Transportation met, last week. We, had a food drive there. Had 339 vehicles come through. Pretty significant. They, make it convenient because you can come right through the building in the back, but they start lining up and that road is full all the way down to south of town. Dispatch and driver training has taken place, and the state budget is at 34%. So that's much higher than what we anticipated. So that's a good thing. And Greg Alexander had a lot to do with that. So if you see him, thank him.
We owe him a thanks for that one.
Yes, most certainly. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. Christine?
I have nothing to report.
Okay. We had a county planning meeting a couple weeks ago, and pretty standard stuff. We're continuing to see townships working on battery storage facilities, wind, solar, things like that, pretty typical. I know the marijuana stuff's been a big thing in Marlette, but I'd say, Gary, from our perspective, we haven't seen a lot of stuff come through recently for that. That's kind of the gist of planning. That's all I have. John?
No report.
Okay.
I have emergency management tomorrow night and Michigan Works next Friday.
Very good. Appreciate everyone's committee reports. That's going to take us to unfinished business, to which we have none. So we're going to drop into new business. And today we're going to start out with FA 175-25, approval of current claims.
Give me the second here.
Take your time.
I believe it was page FA 162-25.
They're not aligning, John, in the.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the number that we're on, FA 16225.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold up. Let's just see here. So maybe it's just, so approval of current claims is, so this is from November 25th. So
I see what you're.
we're going to just disregard the FAs on the agenda and we will run off the motions that's on page 3. And that's going to start out today with FA 162-25, and that's approval of current claims.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payments of current claims identified on the accounts payable report dated November 25th, 2025 for the general bank account in the amount of $260,337.90.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Up next is going to be FA 163-25, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and establishes the following accounts as listed.
Support. I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, supported by Commissioner Moody. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Bear with me, I'm just gonna move slow through this. I think it's done now. I think the numbers get correct. So now we're on to FA 177-25, authorization of the 2025 medical examiner budget.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes up to $20,000 for the medical examiner fiscal year 2025 budget shortfall with funding from the general fund contingency.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, supported by Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
think probably the agenda is correct. I think that one page,
You got it.
it's probably one that gets reused and
And those didn't get changed?
the numbers.
Okay, I think,
Yeah, I think it just.
Somebody just texted and said it should have been 175 and 176.
Yeah, I think it's just a simple error.
Yep.
yeah, I think that's what it was. Thank you for that, Roger. So now we are on to, we were completed with 177-25, so now we're on to 178-25, approval of lead medical examiner scene investigator agreement.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves lead medical examiner scene investigator MESI agreement for Chad Schmidt effective November 1st, 2025 for immediate approval and further authorizes the board chairman sign the necessary agreement.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, supported by Commissioner Moody. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 179-25, approval of medical examiner scene investigator agreements.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves medical examiner scene investigators MESI agreements for Andrew Cubitt, Jeff Dawson, Crystal Schultz, Curtis Zimmerman, Reese Esselmacher, Ricky Hostetler, Sarah Nichols, Steve Schmidt, and Tammy Catt effective December 1st, 2025, and further authorizes the board chairman sign the necessary agreements.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, supported by Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next up is FA 180-25, adoption of a fee schedule for construction and land use.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby adopts an increase to the application for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing permits from $50 to $75 and to implement an additional reinspection fee of $75 effective January 1st, 2026.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, supported by Commissioner Ballard. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Before we move into FA 181-25, I'm going to call for public comment related to the public hearing for the 2026 county budget. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'm now going to close the public hearing related to the 2026 budget. Commissioner Sarkella, you go ahead with FA 181-25.
Salem County Board of Commissioners hereby adopts the 2026 Budget Resolution, General Appropriation Act, and General Non-General Fund Budget as follows.
Support. I have a motion offered by Commissioner Sarkella, supported by Commissioner Moody. This is a resolution, so Lori, I'll need a roll call vote, please.
Commissioners, John Mooney, District 7.
Yes.
Ehart, absent. Commissioner District 5, Christine Lee.
Yes.
District 4, Commissioner Bill Sarkella.
Yes.
District 3, Commissioner Gary Heberlein.
Yes.
District 2, Commissioner Roger Ballard.
Yes.
District 1, Commissioner John Block.
Yes. Resolution is adopted. Thank you, Lori. Okay, so that's going to conclude our public hearing on the 2026 budget. So at this time, I'm going to call for general public comments. Are there any general public comments today? Seeing none. Up next, the board is going to go into closed session, so we're going to have everybody leave the room. I don't know if there will be any action taken by the board after closed session, so if you want, you're welcome to stay and we will invite you back in when we come out of closed session. If you decide to go home, we won't be offended. We may just be adjourning the meeting, so we'll leave it up to you. With that said, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of reviewing union contract negotiations at 1:51.
So moved.
I have a motion from Vice Chairman Ballard, support from Commissioner Sarkella to go into closed session.
How long do you?
10 minutes.
Oh.
I don't think it'd be longer than
Okay.
Eric. I mean, it could be a little bit longer, but I don't think it'd be too bad.